Hey guys, Animal One Guy here. I got Speedy up on my hand. Like I said, he's always so friendly. And I'm going to tell you guys today how you can get a chameleon and how you can hand feed them, which is probably the coolest thing to do with a chameleon. And it's actually really simple. So chameleons in nature, they like to hide. They're scared. That's the whole thing that they do. They're not, I don't want to say they're not unfriendly, they're just scared creatures to begin with. So how do you go about building trust with this guy? How can you get these guys to allow you to feed them? And it's actually really simple. I started with making just a little spot on inside his cage, right there, to hold a little piece of Tupperware, and as he's climbing all over me. And, oh, come on, don't block the camera. And he almost fell. And what you do with the Tupperware is pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and put him back. No, it's not time to go on top. Oh, come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. So what you do is I put food, crickets at the time because he was smaller, in a Tupperware container, and I put the Tupperware container in the cage. He would see that those crickets were in the Tupperware container, and every day around the same time he would go there and eat them. Awesome. So at that point he recognized the Tupperware as containing his food. Cool. Then what I started to do was, around the same time of feeding time, I used the same Tupperware container, the same type of food, but instead of putting it in that container, I would offer it to him. So instead of setting it in the cage, I would hold it in front of him. He would kind of scope it out from a distance. Sometimes he'd be in the back of the cage, and I'd have to go, weasel my arm in there and give it to him. He's not going to eat now, of course, because he already ate. Awesome. So he started to become really comfortable with my hand, with the container, with the food that was in it. And the key thing here is I was using the same kind of food, the same container, always doing the same type of motions that would get him very comfortable with the routine. So then he started to become comfortable enough when I would open the cage, and when he's hungry, of course, I would put the container with the roaches or the crickets at the front of the cage. He would come sprinting from wherever, and he'll still do this, to where the container is, because he would hear the food in him or he would recognize the container. So you have that whole routine down. Then it's the final step, which is the final step of trust. But once you've been hand feeding him from the container to his cage, it's really not different to grab a roach or a cricket, whatever you're feeding him at the time, and instead of putting the container in, I would put the roach, in this case that's what I used, in my hand, and just hold it in front of him like this. And the first couple times, it took him a while. He had to look at the roach and feel confident, and a lot of the times in the beginning he stayed in the back of the cage where he is now, and he would just lick it with his tongue like that and pull it in. And then just repeating that process daily. Every time I would feed him, I would just do that. You can train so many reptiles with this repetition. I've trained my Chinese water dragon. I'll show you in another video. I've trained my Cuban false chameleon, who lives next door to him, with the same routine. Key thing, though, is Speedy I got as a baby and trained him up through that. Guido, my other chameleon, I got as a juvenile, almost full adult, and still trained him the same way. So those are the tips. Let me know, guys, if you've been trying to feed your chameleon with your hand and you wanted help, or if this video has helped you in any way. The other cool thing is, once you're able to do this, let's see if he goes for it. I'll grab kind of a smaller roach. Once you're able to do this, it leads to a great thing. People can come over and open the cage, and from a distance they can hold a roach or a cricket or a superworm, and as long as he's hungry, he'll whip it from them, whether people want to see me do it or whether when the people come over themselves, they can do it. Alright guys, take care.